Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Today I have an easy, beginner-friendly flow for you. This is a great all-around yoga flow that will build some heat in the body and then we'll be relaxed at the end. Please hop in some comfy clothes, hop on your mat, and please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let's get started. To begin our practice today, meet me here in Sukhasana, or easy cross-legged seated position. I'm sitting on top of bolster just to raise my hips off the ground. That way it's easier for me to open my hips and sit in this cross-legged position. But wherever you are, find whatever props you need. Cross at the ankles, tall spine, open heart, level chin, and we can begin to ground ourselves into whatever space you may be practicing in and prepare mentally for this practice today. Although our practice isn't too tough, it's good to just kind of let everything that happened in the past be. Just forget about it. You're here in this practice now. No reason to focus on the future either. Just be here in this practice and be mindful of your body and your movements. It's also a good opportunity to really establish our breath. We will be doing breath to movement in this practice. So establishing a breath off the bat is really good practice. So to do that, exhale, let everything out. Really force all the air out. And with an inhale from the belly first, filling the lungs, lifting the chest finally, and then exhaling either through the nose or through the mouth. Really forcing all that air out. The belly comes in as you do this. If you'd like, you can put your hand on your belly just to feel the inhale and exhale. Feel our belly move in and out. An easy tip to help you through postures, and it's actually a breathing technique or a pranayama, is Ujjayi pranayama, and that's sort of restricting the back of the throat with the tongue, pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, and breathing in and out through the nose. Really forcing that air out on the exhale. So now that we're grounded, we have our breath established. Let's collect our knees and come off of our prop, or just meet me on all fours or in a table posture. Move props off to the side. Hips stacked over knees, shoulders stacked over wrists. And we can begin our breath to movement practice by lifting the hips, dropping the belly, lifting the chin and chest with an inhale. This is cow pose. Really drop the belly here. And then when you're ready, with an exhale, we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to tuck the hips, really press through the earth, press the spine up towards the sky, chin falls towards the chest. This is cat pose. An inhale, cow pose, lifting the chin, lifting the chest, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, and exhale. Move through cats. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Let's do one more. Let's move really slow, starting from the hips. As we lift the tailbone up, the hips tilt forward, dropping the belly, rolling up the spine now. And then from the hips again, let's tuck. Rolling up the spine, pressing through with the hands, really pressing the spine up towards the sky, and finally the chin falling towards the chest. Come back to a neutral table posture. Tuck the toes if they're not already, and we'll lift the hips up for downward facing dog. Here in our downward facing dog, have some space between the ears and the shoulders. Press through the earth with the hands again, pressing the chest back towards the thighs and the heels. See if you can get them as close to the ground as possible.
making this A shape with the body. And with an inhale, drop the knees to the mat, back into table posture. Release the toes, shoelace side of the foot on the ground, and then with an exhale, sinking the hips back down onto the heels. Head coming to rest either on the earth or on something. Arms stretched out wide. This is child's pose. And with an inhale, back up to table posture. Exhale, downward facing dog. And be playful as we move through these three postures with how wide or how narrow you have the feet or hands. As we inhale, coming back to table, I'm sending my knees wide, touching the big toes, and with an exhale, sinking the hips back onto the heels. When you're ready, with an inhale, table posture, keeping my feet close together, and then exhaling, downward facing dog. Notice how, if you're following along, notice how this treatment is kind of different here with the feet close together. Maybe you feel a different sort of stretch on the body. With an inhale, bring the knees together on the mat, releasing the toes, and exhale. Child's pose again. Again, feel the difference here if your knees are together. Inhale up to table. One more round of that. Feet go wide this time, and exhale. Downward facing dog. And inhale. Knees to mat. And exhale. Child's pose. Hips to heels. Head rests on the ground or on something. And inhale. Up to table posture. Now collect yourself back in the middle, back in this neutral table posture. Knees about hip width apart, hands the same, hips stacked over knees, shoulders over wrists. Tuck the toes, then press yourself up and back into that downward facing dog. Look towards the front of your mat and take just little baby steps up on the tippy toes, coming in between the hands, feet about hip width apart, a generous bend in the knee, letting the torso rest against the thighs here, and then the arms hang heavy. And after your exhale, as we inhale, slowly begin to roll up, straightening the spine one vertebrae at a time until you get to a standing posture or Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet still hip width apart, toes pointed forward. Some energy here in the knees, energy in the fingertips. Spread the fingertips apart, palms either facing in or out. Open heart space in the back as well. Level chin, gaze slightly forward and up. This is a proper mountain pose. Now with an inhale, we'll circle our arms up, touching the palms overhead, and then spreading the arms apart, diving forward into that standing forward fold again. Inhaling, halfway lift, hands on the shins or above the knees. Lengthening the spine, extending through the crown, that's the top of the head. And then exhale, fold again. Plant the hands, step back with the left foot, drop the left knee to the ground, and an inhale. Rise up into this low lunge, shoulders over hips, arms extended up to the sky, palms facing in. And exhale, come back forward, hands on the mats, table posture. I'm going to scoot myself back a little bit, but knees chest and chin on the mat, and then all the way down on the mat. Wrists should be underneath the shoulders. Shoelace side of the foot on the ground, feet together, legs together as we inhale. Lift the chest and chin sort of like you would for that cow pose. And then exhale, back down. Press yourself up to a table posture. Tuck the toes, and then press yourself back into downward facing dog. Now, since our right foot was forward, we'll lift the right foot in the air for this three-legged dog. And then with an exhale, we'll send that through between the hands, back into this runner's lunge, and then dropping the left knee again and rising up with an inhale for low lunge. And exhale, lower yourself back down. Lift the knee off the ground, and then a smooth transition, all with an inhale, back up into halfway lift. And exhale, fold, and inhale, rise, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. So hands together, thumbs here on the sternum. And then add a little something to it, a slight bend in the knees this time. Arms come straight up and overhead with an inhale. Looking back just a little bit of a back bend, maybe push the hips forward. And then exhale, dive forward, forward folds. If you need that bend in the knees still so the torso rests against the thigh, take it, and that's okay. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Planting the hands, stepping back with the opposite foot this time, the right, dropping the knee to the ground, and then with an inhale, rise up, low lunge, opposite side. Exhale, fold back down, plant the hands, come back into table posture, setting yourself up for that knees, chest, and chin. And then release, torso back on the ground, feet together, legs together, shoelace side of the foot on the ground. And see if this time you can lift yourself into low cobra, maybe float the hands off the ground with an inhale, and then exhale, come back down. Press yourself into table posture. Tucking the toes, and then exhale, downward facing dog. And since our left foot was forward that last time, we'll lift the left leg for three-legged dog. And then one smooth motion with an exhale, we'll step it through between the hands, dropping the back knee to the ground, setting yourself up for that low lunge. And then when you're ready, inhale, low lunge. And exhale, hands back down to the mats, lifting that back knee. And with an inhale, we'll step forward into halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. That was a sun salutation. Gets the body warmed up, gets the blood flowing, really prepares yourself for the practice. It's a good opportunity to use that breath to movement. We'll load up into the knees again. Inhale, drive the arms up, slightly bigger back bend, and then exhale. Dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping back into high plank. That's a high push-up position. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Then we'll lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog. And with an exhale, step that through between the hands, nice and wide in the stance here. Really set yourself up. Make sure your toes are pointed forward. And this back foot, we're going to rotate it around so the toes are facing on the side of the mat. You're going to really open up in the hips here. Making sure your stance is nice and wide. Making sure your knees stacked over the ankle. Making sure the heel is in line with the middle of the back foot. And then when you're ready, rise up, shoulders over hips, spreading the arms apart, really feeling the energy through here. This is warrior two, looking forward, gazing over this front hand, sinking down nice and wide here. Again, opening the hips. Take a moment, adjust what you need to adjust here in your warrior two. If there's anything that's tight, just recognize it. And when you're ready, with an inhale, we're going to tip backwards. This hand is going to rest on the knee, and the other hand is going to arc over the body, looking up at these fingers. This is reverse warrior. And then with an exhale, we're going to move just the torso all the way forward, resting this arm on the leg here, and this upper arm will go straight, and you can look up at these fingers. You can keep the head neutral here. There should be one line from this wrist down to this ankle. And then inhale, back up to warrior two, and then windmill, the arms down, planting the left hand down on the mat, turning this back foot. And then with an inhale, we'll take a twist over this bent knee, so twisting to the right here, looking up at this hand. And then exhale down, planting the hand, stepping back into that high plank, shifting forward and lowering all the way down to the ground, nice and slowly. Releasing the toes, shoelace side of the foot on the ground. Inhale, low cobra, maybe float the hands, and then exhale, down. Press yourself up either into table and then a high plank, or just press yourself up into a high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward to the front of your mat. Take those baby steps again. Walk your feet up to the front of the mat in between the hands into this forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. Again, load up into those legs. Slightly bigger back bend as we inhale. And exhale. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And fold forward once more. Planting the hands, taking a step back with the opposite foot. Remember to get your stance nice and wide here. We're going to start by pivoting that back foot around. Toes facing out. The edge of the foot should be parallel with the back of the mat. Make sure you're really set up in your stance here. And then when you're ready, rise up into your warrior two. And the front heel should be in line with the middle of the back foot. Nice and deep here. Shoulders over hips. If you're leaning too far forward or too far back, try to adjust yourself. If you don't have a mirror, just try to feel if your shoulders are over your hips. But really energy pulling the arms apart, gazing over these front fingers. Once you have your warrior two, after an exhale, as you inhale, begin to rock back, placing this hand, resting it on the knee, and this top hand will arc overhead, gazing up at these fingers. Bottom half of your body should be still during these movements. And then when you're ready, exhale, come forward, rest this hand on the thigh. This hand comes overhead, should be one line from wrist all the way down to this ankle. Making sure your knee is pointed straight
your front knee is pointed straight. And with an inhale, back up to warrior two. And then windmill the arms down. Plant the hand, turn the foot, and then with an inhale, we'll take a twist over this front knee. And exhale, plant the hand, take a step back into high plank, shift forward, lower it down, not all the way down to the floor this time. Almost all the way down, flip the toes. Upward facing dog with the knees off the mat, or high cobra with knees on the mat, but straightening the arms. And then flipping the toes again, pressing the hips up for downward facing dog. And bring the knees down to the mat. Swing the legs around, coming onto the bottom. Placing the soles of the foot on the mat. Scooting forward just a little bit, extending the arms, and then slowly roll down onto your back. Nice and gently. Once your back and your head touches the ground, bring the feet or the heels in towards you a little bit so the soles of the feet are flat on the ground. And with an inhale, extend the right leg in the air and then fold the right ankle over the left knee. If you're limited on the space and you want to stay on your mat, you can shift the hips over to the right a little bit. And then exhale, let everything fall to the left side. In this figure four supine twist, you should be feeling quite a few different sensations here. Some lengthening, some shortening of muscles. Overall, should be feeling a nice stretch. Nothing should feel uncomfortable. If it does, of course, you can adjust yourself to where it is comfortable for you. Arms out to a T here. And if you like a side body stretch, you can leave the chin neutral, extending the right arm overhead. Or if you'd like to leave the right arm out at a T and drop the chin to the opposite side of the legs, you can do that as well. You can allow this top knee to sort of fall in towards the armpit a bit, or you can really not force it, but really extend it down towards the feet. Or you can just let everything be neutral. Another option is to bend the left knee even more, bring this ankle towards the glute, and then grabbing a hold of that ankle with the right arm if that's accessible to you. Or if you just like to stay neutral in this posture, you can do that as well. Deep breaths here. Inhale, exhale, forcing all of the air out. If this posture feels tight to you, breathing will help get you through it. After an exhale, inhale, bring everything back up to center, and then let everything fall over to the opposite side. So the right knee should be on the ground, left knee supporting. We won't be here for nearly as long. Again, if you need to adjust anything, feel free to adjust. And after an exhale and with an inhale, legs come back up to center, extend the right leg up, and then place the sole of the right foot on the mat. Adjust anything you need to, and then with an inhale, extend the right leg, or excuse me, the left leg, fold the left ankle over the right knee, and then let everything fall over to the right side. Same things apply here, except we're moving the left arm overhead this time if that's what you choose. We're grabbing the right ankle with the left arm, grabbing the cat's tail, or rolling the chin over to the left shoulder, or bringing the knee closer to the armpit or further away. If you've tried something and you don't like it, you want to try something else, of course, feel free to do so. Just make sure you breathe. Fulfilling inhales, easy exhales. If you've modified anything in this posture, release those modifications now, and with an inhale, bring the knees back up to center, and then exhale, let everything fall over to the opposite side. Again, we won't be here for nearly as long. After an exhale, and with an inhale, bring the knees back up to center. Extend the left leg and then place the sole of the left foot on the ground. Grab a hold of your knees, bring them into your chest. Wrap your arms around the shins and give yourself a hug. Be really close to yourself here. You can rock side to side, gentle movements. You can rock back and forth if you like. Tuck the chin into the knees. Release everything, grab a hold of the knees. Set the feet down gently on the mat. And then extend the legs out. Heels on the ground. Flip the palms so the palms are facing up. And have some space between the arms and the side body. If you'd like to put a pillow or a blanket under your head or knees, or any other way to make your corpse pose, your shavasana, unique to you, of course you may do so. As you let your breath run free, begin to relax our entire body, starting from the feet and working our way up, relaxing the toes. Surrender the weight of your heels to the earth as we move up the leg. Maybe feel the air that passes underneath your knee. Surrender the weight of your hips to the earth. Surrendering the weight of your shoulders, your upper arm, your lower arm. Feel how the back of the hand rests against the earth. And feel the air pass between the fingertips. Surrender the weight of your head to the earth. Let the eyes roll back into their orbits. Let the tongue fall into the lower palate. And imagine the brain sliding to the back of your skull. Nowhere left to be, nothing left to do. Just be at ease. Wherever you are, lost in thought, release that thought and return to your breath. Your breath that keeps you grounded, your breath that gives you life. As you bring awareness back to the breath, start to bring awareness back to the body as well. Start small, start wiggling the fingers, the toes, tiny movements that grow, rolling the ankles, rolling the wrists, moving the legs, the arms, extend the arms overhead, point the toes, full body stretch, returning the arms. Eventually, when you're ready, bend one knee, place the sole of the foot on the ground, and then press off that foot and roll on to your side, using an arm as a pillow, bending the knees in this fetal posture, this recovery position. We don't want to just rise up from our Shavasana, our corpse pose. We want to slowly get the body used to moving. This gives us a small chance to catch up. Whenever you're ready, we'll press up into an easy seat. Take your time. You don't have to follow me directly. Cross at the ankle, tall spine, open heart, level chin. I really hope you enjoyed this practice today. Hopefully you got something out of it. Maybe you learned something. If you did, let me know how it went for you. Let's take one last breath together to close out. As we inhale, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.